Attention everybody, it looks like Ethereum has decided what it wants to do, and thankfully Shiba Inu has followed suit. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys everything that's been going on with Ethereum over the past few hours and how this correlates to an amazing rise in Shiba Inu. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let's get right into it, folks. So as you guys can see right now here on CoinMarketCap, this is where it all starts. As you guys know, a lot of these ERC20 tokens are incredibly reliant on what Ethereum does, and it has decided to take a very steady growth today at 5%. This obviously, in the same vein as Bitcoin here over here on the day, has been a little different. You guys can tell Bitcoin here is leveling off slightly below 40,000. It was expected that 40 would be kind of this consolidation area, like, hey, is it going to be a big sell-off or is it going to skyrocket to 50? This has been a very, very sort of contentious zone here, and that is to be expected. 40 is just a whole different zone for Bitcoin. But thankfully, Ethereum still has a little bit more to go before hitting that $3,000 roadblock. And as you guys know, 3,000 is a pretty big roadblock. And every time it hits that, it has some mixed behavior. It either plummets back down to 25 or, like in the past, soars up to 37. So Ethereum, thankfully, has a little bit more headroom for some slow, steady, controlled growth without a sell-off. And thankfully, like all other ERC20 tokens, Shiba Inu has decided to follow suit here, up 2.5% on the day, which might not sound like much, but in the scheme of things, this is pretty big. Because like I said, we saw the eToro listing from earlier. This was around 24 hours ago when it was listed here on eToro. Now, the question is, would it maintain these gains? And as I talked about in my eToro video, I said, hey, let's take a look at what happens here. I don't know how much of this it's going to lose, because you could see the listing here. It's listed and it skyrockets all the way up here at 1.65, and obviously it can't maintain itself at that point. It's to be expected. So the question we now have is, how many of these gains will be lost? How much of this initial surge from eToro is it going to lose? And I said, ideally, if we can make some progress up from this region, it doesn't have to be anything amazing, but if we can make some progress up from 6.1 or 6.2 even, that would be great. And thankfully, Shiba Inu here has listened, and obviously coinciding with Ethereum here, you guys could see SHIB obviously loses that initial surge and then goes all the way back down here to 6.2. This is its little bounce off point, and then again, you guys can see very nice steady controlled growth up to 6.4, back down to 6.3. So if I were to take a guess, I would say the next spot here will be somewhere around 6.5. Now obviously that isn't anything humongous, but it is a very nice steady growth, which is very good for Ethereum. And obviously Ethereum and its related tokens like SHIB move together in this fashion. So the idea here is that neither of these tokens are being overbought or oversold, but going up in a very steady fashion. And a good way to tell this is to take a look at the relative strength index. And as you guys could see, that eToro listing, yeah, it's a little bit overbought. And you guys could tell because it has exceeded that 70 mark. Now, with the RSI, you always want it to be between 30 and 70. And with that eToro listing, again, the formula for determining the RSI has decided that, hey, this is a little much. There are a little too many people buying here at once. And then you guys can see it loses a little bit of steam. But take a look. Okay, it's a little bit on the lower end here as it loses all that momentum. That's why we see a very nice bounce back. And then once again, we're seeing it, inching up towards the top here. So the idea is that if it is able to continue on this trajectory, of course, it would probably hit 70 right as it hits 6.5, and then we would watch it lose a tiny bit of steam again. So these sort of growth periods I've seen happen many times with SHIB, but they're really the best because they're steady, they're consistent. I don't worry all that much really about volatility right here. I'm not worried when I go to sleep tonight that it's going to crash all the way back down to 5.8 or 5.7 or something. I'm not particularly worried about that. Now, again, you of course don't want to invest more than you can afford to lose. Of course, all crypto stocks, anything, any asset is speculative to an extent, but I do like to be smart with my investments, and that's why with SHIB, I definitely do like to follow these charts and try to learn the type of behavior that we're watching here. If you're someone who's into taking profits or whatnot, now might be a good time. I don't know. Again, like I said, it's very hard to tell, but Ethereum could very well just keep going and hit 3K. Again, it's a little too early to tell, but I'm very impressed with what Ethereum here has been doing over the past 24 hours because it is very slow, steady, controlled growth that hasn't really lost any momentum. If you take a look here over the past 7 days, this is nice, nice, man. This is a very, very nice looking graph, and I'm sure a lot of you guys could agree on that. Now, when we take a look here at the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is also kind of a big one here to look at, and I always like to check that as well here on TradingView. Here is a look at Bitcoin right now, and as you guys could see with the relative strength index, we got something wonderful here, because as you guys could see, it's hanging out here right below 40,000, but take a look at the relative strength index. It's determining that, hey, it's actually under 50 right now, so it is actually on the lower end of the RSI, meaning that it is certainly not overbought at 40,000, and very well with some headroom here could hit 42, 43 over the foreseeable future here. Now, obviously, these are just predictions. I can't guarantee anything, but based off of what we're looking at here, this is determining a very mild, very steady, controlled bit of growth here, a very controlled price action here, while it is hanging just below 40,000, which is very, very big. Now, as you guys can see here, at a previous instance here, this was just a couple days ago when it hits 40,000 here, you guys can see it's determining that it's a little bit overbought. But when you take a look now at it 40,000, again, it had this period of consolidation here, which you guys could see was able to consolidate here just a little bit. Now below 40,000, the relative strength index is determining that, hey, things are all good. It's got some wiggle room. It's got some room to grow. And that is what I love to see. And again, the same thing with Shiba Inu, man. A lot of these growth patterns are really reliant, of course, on Ethereum, which I've talked about. And thankfully, Bitcoin and Ethereum are both performing well, but, I don't like to watch Ethereum and Bitcoin go completely opposite, and I don't like to watch them go neck and neck either. I think there's a happy balance here for people to realize, hey, Ethereum is a valid asset. Ethereum does something different, of course, than Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptocurrencies, and obviously really is more of a framework for building other tokens like SHIB. And I think when Ethereum has a degree of autonomy, but still a vague link to Bitcoin and maybe even Doge, I don't know, maybe even Doge and some other, tokens out there. I don't really know in that regard, but I would say a nice link to Bitcoin and obviously any other ERC20 tokens like SHIB and some other ones out there. So that's just my initial thoughts. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know down below in the comments, of course, how much SHIB you guys are holding on to right now. Again, I think this is a very good day because it's a period of growth that isn't volatile. When you see this eToro growth, it's great and all, but I knew it wouldn't be sustained, and it wasn't. But now that we have seen hours after, we have a little bit of data right now on the losses that obviously after that initial surge, we see the lowest point it hits after that surge, and this very steady, very continued growth where it is constantly charting higher lows and managing to establish potential new lines of support. Now, if I were to take a look right now at SHIB and take a guess as to where I think there would be in line of support here in the near future, I'm going to refresh here on Shiba Inu here. If I were to take a guess where I would expect to see some new line of support, really, man, I think we could see it somewhere around 6.3, and this would be a fine area here to look at in the near future, just based off of the data here, but it very well could go higher. Again, this eToro growth here hasn't eroded, and that's really the big thing here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos come out every single day. My name is Matt. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.